more suspicious. Like, who does this guy come from? He's from Saudi Arabia. He's not Al-Qaeda, is he? And they start scrutinizing the people, the Imams. Okay, and if you look at this point from the economical aspect, if you bring an overseas Imam, there's a greater burden on the masjid. You see that when overseas Imams come here, they might have a language barrier, and besides, like what my opposing team said, they might not choose him. But for like one job, like doing Tarawih, then it would be pretty easy because we'll just bring this guy who's famous and he can just recite and do a Tarawih because every Muslim knows how to pray. So who's our Imam? They know how to pray, they know how to recite surahs. They must know that. And it's not worth paying a lot of money for just one overseas Imam, or like a few overseas Imam. If you just bring, you need to, like, they might need some, see, they just come here, they can live in the masjid. Some masjids are not that, now they're that advanced, but most masjids are still not that advanced yet. So they'll need some place to live. They might not know how to drive. They might need to pay for insurance, might need to update their visa, they might need someone to drive to the place. And an Imam, also, if you just bring a Imam from the national place, they'll be familiar with the Western side, they know what to do. They would already know, they would already have a job, and they would know what to do. Like, they would have a house, they would most probably have the house. They'll have a budget of what it's like to be living here. Okay, when you bring an Imam from overseas, they will not know how to communicate with the general public. So, like our public team said, if they don't know how to communicate, why would they bring him here? Well, if you just bring here, some Imams from over here, know how to speak Arabic, and they're taking Arabic classes. So they communicate with the other Imams for doing simple jobs, but still, if you bring the overseas Imam here, it will be a greater burden on the masjid. As my first speaker has mentioned, there's a lack of communication. They also bring the culture with them. And sometimes people don't like culture from the Western society and from the Eastern subcontinent world. The opposing team might say the Imams have internet access and they're familiar with the Western world, but think about it. In the rural areas, it's more like dry land or like farm, like where it's all organic. You do it yourself. It's like something. It's more of you do it yourself. So I conclude by saying that there should not be overseas Imams from the political, economical, and the social point of view.
Thank you for the opposing team and the judges, the audience for coming to us to this debate. I am opposing no more overseas Imams, and I would like to start by refuting the second speaker. When he said that there are madrasas in America and people can graduate, the truth about this is there are really not many. Madrasas are a minority in this country, and in like the Indian subcontinent and Eastern countries, a Muslim community is not considered a real Muslim community without a madrasa. Most of their schools are Islamic schools, and that is why most Imams are from overseas. When he was talking about when they come in, they bring in different fruit. Yes.
You said something about madrasas, like there's only a few, but I mean people there. There's al-Huda, and there's like Islamic schools where people are coming out hafizes and scholars.
There are a lot of Islamic schools, but the problem with these are you cannot graduate from these and become an Imam right away. These are elementary schools and middle schools. They give you the basic knowledge of Islam, and they teach you how to be a good Muslim. It does not teach you how to be an Imam. You can be a Hafiz, yet at the same time you might not have the qualities to be an Imam, because an Imam is an Islamic speaker. If you know all of the surahs by heart, yet you cannot talk good in front of other people, then you are not considered as an imam. When they said about food and valuables and pets, really that does not affect the situation, because food, valuables, and pets, we own them too, and that will not really change anything. And yes.
Some cultures are different, and there's some contrabands in the airport, and they don't allow you to bring these type of stuff.
Okay, I'll get to that. Well, an imam is an Islamic speaker, so even if customs does not let these things pass, we should just let go of them, because an imam is coming here to speak the true faith, to speak the religion, to teach us. He is not here to teach his culture. It is for his religion, because it is like, in a way, it ties in with jihad, because we cannot give up our culture, because our religion, just because of the government. And how you said that the imam is a burden for the masjid, it is the opposite, because the imam is the community leader, and he takes care of the problems of the community as a whole, so he has more of a burden than we would have. And that leads me to my point that there are too many immigrant Muslims for there to be no overseas imams, and many of the Muslims in this population are overseas. 97% of the Muslims in America have first generation as an overseas Muslim. The other 3% are people that have converted into Islam. Also, there are 630,000 communities that have at least a majority of overseas Muslims in the community. So that also shows us that it would be very hard not to have overseas imams, because with 630,000 communities is all of the Muslims in America, and there is not one community in America that is completely Muslims that are not overseas. So that leads me to conclude with my point that we should have overseas imams. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to thank the chair and the judge for listening to me today. I would like to start by refuting the opposition for this topic. The opposition said that having overseas imams isolates the imams themselves because of their language. This was refuted very well by the first speaker. That was all that the opposition